Hey, it's Em. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Two Girls Shooting the Shit with Em and Mo. Mo and I got into a tiff. Some conflict, a disagreement, if you will. Listen in as we talk about communication, conflict resolution, misunderstandings, and using your voice to ask for what you want. Also, if you listen closely, you'll catch some hints about our upcoming OnlyFans debut. Enjoy.
This is what I used to do. I just pretend like I understood and be like, yeah. And then it's like, I don't even know what the fuck this person is saying. Like,
and you going, yes, I'll be there.
Like, I don't want to
yes,
look, I don't want to look stupid. So I'm not going to act like,
no, it's better to clarify than to.
It's better to clarify.
End up at a gangbang you didn't know you signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, we need to be clear.
Hey, I didn't tell you about that.
We need to be clear. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Oh, it's ooh.
What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that smile.
You were telling me I had some kind of ASMR voice. That voice was like good afternoon.
You do.
It was like,
you have a radio
It was like
voice.
rich and like, good afternoon.
Yes, boo.
How's it going?
Well, now that I've talked to you, I don't know. Fine.
I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know.
Good.
Look, it's wonderful. It's a beautiful day.
Wonderful.
We are blessed to be alive.
I just want to eat food. I'm PMSing.
You want Cheez-Its?
No, they're not vegan, but yeah, some plant earth balance.
Do they make
yeah.
like
earth balance? Yeah, girl. Earth balance Cheez-Its. I'd be eating a whole box,
here.
so I can't have those.
So I got some stuff from Costco. We got a thing of croissants in my house. It was gone within 24 hours. I think there's like a dozen in there. What?
Sounds like mine, and I don't have as many people, so
it's just like, how is food going so fast?
And the inflation, I'm trying to grow food and it ain't hitting. They all
Do you have
little
little gardens and stuff? No, really?
I try to start stuff and they die, so I don't know. I gotta keep trying, but I'm trying
I got
to
a brown thumb.
Yeah, same. I'm really thinking like I need some beans. As long as I have beans and veggies, I can survive.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep dying.
Tomatoes.
One started sprouting up. I had some beans. I don't remember what kind of beans. They started sprouting, look good and healthy and thick. And then the next thing next time, that's just how I like them. And the next time I looked, it was turned into water. Like it was just
was it like 5 weeks later you looked?
Like it was like a week
like,
later.
Oops.
Like, damn, I can't. Should have taken it out. So I'm gonna try again. I'm not giving up.
Do some research on it because certain plants grow certain times of the year, all that kind of stuff. And it said it.
It's
science.
I read it.
It's science. Yeah.
Before the last frost, now the frosting come. So I don't know. Shoot. I'm trying to think survival mode. Shoot. We finna be out here, zombie land.
Zombie land. Gotta get your weapons. That's what I'd be more concerned with. Weapons.
Nah, take me. I ain't fighting.
Who cares about a bean?
Right? Let me eat my beans and then y'all want to take me. That's it. I ain't fighting for what? So I can eat some damn beans. Like, what sense does that make?
I think I might eat some beans after this.
I have a
can of like baked beans. I'm trying to eat through my kitchen so I don't have to, pack anything, whatever.
Yeah,
so.
That's smart. I'm just trying to eat up my food because I just noticed I order food and then it's like
just sits there.
It wastes.
Yeah. So what's up? What do we talk about?
Oh, you know what we talking about, boo.
We got a 5-head.
We got into it.
We did have a little bit of a disagreement or something.
A tiff. And so we said, hey, this is pretty, because it was like stupid. I mean, not stupid, but it was just like nothing serious, but it's perception. And so it was like, that's a good topic to talk about, communication and perception and like.
Especially now that communication has been taken off of verbal communication and now it's all in writing, all via text and email.
Faces. Yeah.
And I think that's the hugest part of it. The biggest problem is you don't know tone, you don't know people's intentions. You're just reading words and putting whatever you want on it. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
projecting your own stuff. So if I'm having a shitty day and you say something to me, I'm gonna take it shittily. I don't know if that's a word.
Shittily. I like it.
I like the way it sounds.
That sounds like some Bridgerton stuff. It's just shittily.
I'm gonna take it shittily. And so that's what I notice a lot too. And it's like like you said, with the text communication, it sucks because half the time I'm like, I don't know how to read text, or I'm just very literal and stuff on the text that I read. And so
you're
I'm
literal
like,
in general. And I think that's where you and I kind of have our conflict is I speak very figuratively and weird. Just
me too, though. I'm very abstract. I can be abstract.
Yeah, you have abstract ideas, but you communicate very literally.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll just use words in any old kind of way. It may not even be the meaning, but I'm just like, get it from context clues or whatever.
Yeah.
We just have very different communication styles.
I didn't even look up. Ooh, bad on me. I should have looked up. Are there like, what are the communication styles? Are there like a
I don't know
thing of but anyway, what we were talking about was something where what I do, and I do it with everyone and anybody listening. If anybody's listening, they know I'll be like, when I figure out like my words are not gonna be sufficient, I'll be like, okay, exhibit A, here you go. Like
that's what it triggered me.
And that you were like, what the hell?
Yep. Because I said something to Mo and she pulled up an email. One of them was like an email from like over 10 years ago. Like she has a treasure trove. Monique, you just know if you send her an email, she gonna keep it. My stuff, I don't even, or maybe you're just more organized than me because I'm sure I've got the emails too. I don't know how to index my shit. I don't know.
Like I don't have like anybody else to have my stuff. And that was, I don't know. I just kind of like, it's like my diary or my, like that's how I see it, at least like just sentimental, my stuff. And I think what I was doing was like looking at my blogs, my MySpace blogs. And I have
MySpace.
We should do one.
Zanga. I had a Zanga too.
I found my Zanga.
You told me about Zanga, and then we would just blog
I thought you
at work.
told me.
Or maybe I don't know, but I remember that was about the time that I had my Zanga, and we would both be posting our stuff. And
and so like I don't know, I get sentimental and stuff like that, and so I like to keep my stuff. I look back and sometimes it's funny because I'm like, I'm talking about the same shit that I was talking about in 2007. Like, this is unacceptable. Same shit complaints. Like, where is the growth? But yeah, so you helped me understand, like, yes, that could be creepy and we're comfortable. We've been friends almost 20 years. Like, that's different from maybe somebody I'm newly meeting who would be creeped out by something like that. Like, what the hell? You keeping tabs on me?
Well, my thing was in that conversation that we had, I know you. So I knew it wasn't coming from a bad place or whatever, but it's like you should be a lawyer. Like, I feel like, because you bring the receipts, like, like, oh, you said that? Oh, really? Let me tell you when you said this. Like, and so, and so it just felt like, oh no, like,
I was watching
I better watch what I say.
Like, please, I don't want anybody to feel muted around me. I want people to feel comfortable and safe and able to express themselves. But I guess it's like understanding the communication styles, understanding, people have lives and everything, intent behind things, timing, all of those kind of things, like not reading into what it could mean. I think all of those things are important. But I wanted to say, you were talking about Exhibit, and I was watching, I'm not following it, I just saw it online, the Johnny Depp trial.
No, I saw a little bit of it, but I haven't been watching it. What's going on now?
No, I don't know, but one of the attorneys was like, Exhibit 500. I was like,
relatable content,
right? I was like, nah, that sounds like too much work.
I couldn't be a trial attorney. That's the kind of stuff.
Nope,
that's too much. That means you went through 500 pieces of something, anything, right? For one, I mean, but this is high profile. I think I would get it together for a high profile.
And that's and it's fun too. You don't think about it, right? You just looking through stuff, like, just
because you're proving your case. I mean,
you have a team of people, so it's not like you're the only one. You have support and stuff like that. So I guess on that note, maybe something to think about. It's something to think about. It's like, but that's the thing, like communication and like understanding where people are coming from. Like this BS at this, well, not BS, but this trial, for instance, they're looking at people, they're looking for facial expression, they're looking for
And all of that you don't get through text.
Yeah, you don't get any of that. You just get words. And I'm very literal with words. And I think I annoy people a lot because they get offended and I can't help it.
You're this is what I was going to say about that is all the times that we have been face to face I don't think we've ever had a miscommunication face to face or having a conversation like this. Anytime we've had text though, I know I'm very figurative, whatever the word, I forgot the word, colloquial speak or whatever, but you're literal. And if someone doesn't know you or to the point, they may think you're just being blunt, blunt. Instead of just, this is just literal. And I'm not trying to be
people get mad. And it's like,
they may think that you're mad. I think that's why they may think that you're mad because it's literal. It's very, and you're very, it's succinct, the word, like you're not flowery. You're not like, because I was
a text.
Yeah, but that's and now that you've told me dictation, I'd be like, talking on my text for so long. But the short to the point can be misconstrued when there's no face, like there's no person behind it. You know what I mean? I think that's the part that messes things up is when because people in relationships be fighting over text, and it's like my husband and I will get into it over text, and it's like, wait, can we just talk? Like, what is happening?
I don't know what you're saying. The next room.
Yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's what I always like, I used to, and I still do sometimes, try, because I feel like going back to like we were talking about people pleasing and stuff. It's like, I don't want to bother you. I don't want to try to figure out what you're saying, like keep asking you questions on what you're saying, because then maybe you'll get mad. So let me try to decipher. And then, then I go the wrong way. So it's like, what I do now is I just ask a lot of questions. People really don't, they're like, like, I guess people don't really ask basic questions like that. They just are able to process it and understand. I'm not.
But you would say, what would you say? Can you explain or give me an example? Like it's now I get it. You know what I mean? Now I get it. Okay. So now I do that back. Like, wait a minute. If you say something that seems abstract to me, I will say, can you explain, or can you, but I think before that, and that's something I've learned from your communication style and us speaking, is to do that. Because before that, I would think it would be rude for me to say, can you explain? Like, almost like what you said didn't make sense. Tell me what the hell's going on, but now I get it. Like, hey, I just don't understand. So can you explain?
It's nothing to do with you. Yeah. I think people get offended. Like they feel like they're being tested or something. It's like, literally, I don't know what the F you're saying. Okay. Hey.
My husband just walked in the door. Speaking.
What you creeping on?
Jola.
Yeah, you're gonna be in the episode.
Aww.
Do you want any food?
Aww.
No. Okay.
Dang, must be nice. Look at you getting food delivery. But yeah, like I just asked because it's not a test. It's like I literally don't know what you're saying, and I can't. How are we going to move the conversation to the next step if I don't understand what you're saying? Like, it's a stalemate. So I'd rather, this is what I used to do. I just pretend like I understood and be like, yeah. And then it's like, I don't even know what the fuck this person was saying. Like,
and you going, yes, I'll be there.
Like, I don't want to look, I don't want to look stupid. So I'm not going to act like,
no, it's better to clarify than to.
It's better to clarify.
End up at a gangbang you didn't know you signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not. We need to be clear.
Hey, I didn't tell you about that.
We need to be clear. Exactly. We're not going to the swingers party. Okay, that's not what I thought she said.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! But I think that's also something that I'm very grateful for, is to have a solid friendship where you can have a disagreement and work through it. So that is a level of trust and of safety, to feel like I can say, hey, you know what, I didn't really like this, or this sat wrong with me and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And to be able to talk through it and know that like it's not the end of everything. Because I feel like there's some relationships that I don't think they've got that baseline yet. And that could be a friendship, that could be a relation, like a romantic relationship, whatever. It's bad when you don't have a baseline where you can feel like you can trust the other person and say, hey, the way you said this hurt me, or I don't understand this, or what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
Like, I mean, I know exactly why I can. I never had that space. Like if you questioning me, you know, like that was generally how it was. So it's like, I didn't have that freedom to question or something. It was like, you don't question. And so I remember
like with just your upbringing and just the way
just in general, this like, multiple people, like it was just kind of like the way it was.
Wow.
You kids, you know, like y'all not
it's a different, children should be seen, not heard.
Oh, you're a smart aleck. You know, I used to get that a lot.
Yeah. I tell my daughter all the time.
Yeah, you're a smart aleck.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, were you though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it made it worse. It made it worse though, because like, oh, I can't. but
you need to come get your niece. That's what
I think we would have a good time. Yeah,
and
we gotta hang. Yeah, we need a day.
She's
a few hours.
Yeah, bring her back. You're gonna be like, I'm done. Take her back. You were right.
But I remember when Mama. One of my closest friends, when I first started hanging out with her, and like we were close, like she was close enough where I was like, you could come into my home, you know, however long you want, whatever. And there were some dishes in the sink or something. And I was so scared to tell her about the dishes in the sink because I thought she would get mad at me and there would be a big conflict.
They were her dishes?
I thought, so I thought, oh, let me just write a note. That created a bigger conflict. Because I didn't want to be I thought it would be confrontational if I wrote but
she received it funky, like, oh, you're gonna write a petty note, like you're gonna
write it, and I was like, oh my god, like I thought the note was gonna prevent that from happening, you know. So it's just like sometimes you got to do things and then learn from there, because you can change your communications. You know, it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean for you to receive it that way. I meant to do it. But there was no
I meant to tell you need to clean your shit out the sink.
You know, we do need to have some order and stuff. And we met in an environment where we had like shared duties and stuff like that. And so it's like, that's important, but it's like, it's like having difficult conversations, like how to have difficult conversations in relationships.
I don't know if it's our age or if it's just a
maturity.
Change. Yeah, the maturity, or just the change in culture now where people are talking about these things. But I feel like entering new relations, like if I was dating now, I don't think I would have any problem saying, how are we supposed to communicate? Like having this conversation, talking about communication. How do you receive love? How do
your love languages? Yeah.
All of that type of stuff. I can't even think of anybody, husband included. I mean, during our marriage, we have gone through the 4 love languages, and we've done these little things and learned about each other. But in the dating process, I couldn't tell you what anybody's love language was. I mean, I could maybe guess, but I don't know. I don't know how their dispute resolution worked out or how they wanted to talk. Like, I have no idea. We didn't have, you didn't talk about that. You just were like together and just try to figure it out, like just float along. Yeah, it was all a vibe. Like it's just so weird. And conflict was always something I avoided. Whereas now it's like, conflict isn't a bad thing because it brings about communication and resolution, hopefully, if you're mature enough to get there. So conflict's not bad. It's not a bad thing.
And if we can't have a conflict and get past it, then that's not a good relationship to be in, because it's like you should be able to, because then you're like, we always talk about being heard. If you're not able to be heard, either party, if you're not able to be heard, then there's something, why are we here?
That's my big thing. I don't know what would you call that? That's my big issue.
We gotta look it up.
Not a trauma. I don't know what it is, but I always feel like I'm not being heard. And that's like
I'm not being understood.
Yeah. Well, for me, I just feel like people literally are not hearing me. Like I will say something and they're not paying attention to the content of what I'm saying or the authority with which I'm saying it, or they just won't hear me. Excuse me. Yes,
that I just had something like this where I had, what I was going through. And so I had to cancel a bunch of stuff, and I was trying to figure out like pivot and try to figure out what to do with the purchases and things like that I
plans
made.
You made. Yeah.
And plans. And it's like, I kept trying to follow up with someone and they were not responsive at all. And at first I was like, wow, this person is just being inconsiderate. Like they don't care. And then I said, people are this was not expected. It's unforeseen. They're in the same situation as I am now because I done left them assed out, And so let me take it back a notch and try to not take everything personally and understand that stuff happens, but it is hard. Like, I think that is hard. Like when you're like, when the level of urgency or about something is different, and like, say I'm texting you, Emily, oh my God, I need, and then you're just, I don't hear from you. Like, you have all these kids, well, not all, you got, you know, dang,
I had that many babies. Yeah, but
your whole family,
yeah,
you know, it's like people are going through stuff, and people have different, a lot of people are doing where they block out their phones now. Like, you can
mine did that on itself. And I see everybody else. Every time I send a text, it's like, oh, they have quiet notifications, or like they're.
Oh, I turned that off. I'm like, mine been quiet. I don't need to tell you.
Yeah, notifications silenced or whatever. Like, I'm looking at my phone right now. But, or if I have like something planned in my calendar, it'll automatically be like, she busy. Like, and it's like, I didn't tell you to do that.
Yeah.
So like right now, I'm not getting like, I've got all these texts, but I didn't hear anything or didn't get a notification on my phone, which is weird.
That's been the default for me. You know, I don't ring, phone doesn't ring or anything. Like, I'm a text me, you're going to call me, or call me and I'll call you back kind of person. I'm not going to just pick up the phone cold blooded like that. I mean, it's like, like,
I need some lead time. Dang, you got to text me first, or let it ring and hang up, and then I will call you. It's like some code.
I know. Even you called me, and I was like, "Was that an actual call?"
That was my kid. Call? Yeah, that was my kid.
I should have picked it up. Was it intentional? I would have picked up.
I have no idea. He was saying Auntie Monique, and I was like, okay. He was in the other room. I don't know what he was doing.
FOMO. Have him call me again.
You don't want to talk to him. He's
I do.
He screams. His
That's
voice
fine.
is only a
scream. You don't want to hear it. I'm like, I do actually.
And then he'll walk you through the house. He's got to do, you know, and he does. And you're not looking at anything but the ceiling, you know.
I was like, this has got to be a butt dial.
Can you butt dial on an iPhone? I feel like that's not a thing.
Yes, you can. Not butt dial, but pocket dial. Yeah, I've done it. Because if you're in something and your stuff didn't go to sleep immediately, or if you're texting, yeah. I'm like, dang, I didn't mean to say. I butt text a lot. When I'm
your booty be busy.
Oh no, I put this on and it won't come off. Okay,
that's why I don't wear my wedding ring anymore.
There we go. Whew,
I can get it on, but I cannot get it off.
Isn't that the point?
Yeah, but then your whole finger starts to swell up, looking like some kind of, you know, when you old and you get these water retention issues. Dang.
But I think, yeah, that's what it is. It's like understanding the person, understanding intent, understanding the person, and being comfortable and asking questions. And
understanding the relationship too. I feel like an understanding of where you are in your relationship will give you the security to speak up if something feels like because if I don't know where we stand, like I'm a stay telling you stuff and then feeling like I would just hold it in. I would just be like, oh, like in a work like in other environments.
Yes.
Like, how do you handle conflict like in a work environment? I don't know. I don't know what it's like anymore. I mean, I used to be in HR, obviously, and when there was conflict, I was the employee relations person, you know, like I would deal with that kind of stuff. But like communication and email, I feel like we had an issue with that.
Per my last email.
Recently. No, but recently somebody was talking about an email. I don't know, maybe one of our friends are on the live or something was talking about tones in an email and salutations and how you say things in an email, and how it can be construed. Like if you say best regards. Oh yeah. Whatever, like that type of stuff.
They were getting offended at best, whereas I didn't even look at it. I was like,
I thought it was regular. Like I think mine may have said best at some point, and I had a law professor who's, I remember now. I had a law professor who signed everything abundance. And this was at a time, one, it's funny because you're a law professor. Like, don't bring that energy here, because you know there's an abundance of stuff going on. It's not possible. But now that I look at that, I was like, okay, that was her little on it, like a little something on her salutation.
That was her being unapologetic.
Yeah. And I liked her. Everybody hated her, but I loved her. She was a whole vibe. Like you just had to know her.
We just talked about that. See, the unapologetic people hate them. You got to be okay with that.
Well, she wasn't messing around either. So that's part of what I liked about her.
She understood the assignment and then gave you some.
she was a sister too. So I feel like there was and so I feel like there was also that extra on it, like she's angry and she did, but she was really just like, you wasting my time. Okay. Like write this essay or write this memo the right way. She was our writing professor.
Write this memo the right way.
A memorandum. Yep. But I feel like written communication is tricky, period.
Yeah. Ain't that some shit? I said, ain't that some shit? Oh, ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Goddamn.
Did you know that verbal communication is only 7% of how we communicate? The other 93% comes through all kinds of ways, through facial expressions, through tone, through other ways that say what you're trying to say. For me, I have a nonverbal learning disability. I can't read your face. And if I do, I'm probably going to misread it. And so that's why I think it's important to ask questions. I'll never stop asking a bunch of questions. And also, it goes along with one of the 4 agreements. Don't make assumptions. I can easily make assumptions and be wrong. And then we have miscommunication. So I'd rather ask a question, better understand, to better understand. And sometimes even asking questions doesn't help, but we can only do what we can do. Communication is hard. You got to keep on trying, because I think all we want in this world is better understanding. We need to have something that says tone. Mm-hmm. I feel like tone is a free pass. Like, I don't know how to describe it, because your eyes are going to do something, your face, like you're going to have.
I can't control my face. You know that.
I can't control. What I hate is I can't control my voice. So if people make me feel like, if I feel like I'm going to offend you or say something bad, like if I feel like I know I'm going to say something you're not going to receive properly, you can always hear it in my voice. It goes like, I go like that. Like, I'm like, oh,
okay, Pee-wee.
You about to get pissed at me. Oh, shit. And it's so funny because I remember one time when I stopped using that app, the Clubhouse app, I did that. And somebody actually came on and was like, you scared that girl or something like that. And I'm like, dang, I don't want to be looking scared, sounded scared. But that's what was going on. Like I felt like I was saying something that I knew was going to offend someone. That wasn't the intent, but I wanted to be true to what I wanted to say. And so it's just like navigating all this stuff.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. That's why you got to be unapologetic. See? Dang. They both the same.
I think that's also, it ties into some of the other topics we've talked about in like previous episodes. Mm-hmm. It's just like the thought process in communication, because it's not just words coming out. Like, I think if words ever just came out my mouth, we would be in trouble. Like, I do a lot of thinking, and I do a lot of that's one thing that we had a disagreement about, or like a conflict or whatever about. I say that in quotes because it wasn't really that serious. In the beginning of this podcast stuff and all this stuff, is just my process time. Like, mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you right away, like, oh yeah, why'd you say this, blah, blah, blah. Cause I am very introspective in that way. Like, is it just me? Cause sometimes mm-hmm. I know I'm on one. Sometimes mm-hmm. I'm like putting my whole day on a text that had nothing to do with what my whole day was about. Mm-hmm. And I need to know if it's worth the conflict to me. Like, is it worth it? Or is it just me? I need to check myself because I'm being overly sensitive right now or whatever.
That makes sense.
But I have process time. Like I need to, at least 24 hours, no matter what the situation is, I need to process. So if somebody's like, oh, we need to talk about this, I'll be like, nope, I can't talk right now. Yeah. You don't want what's going to come out. It's not organized.
And I think back in the day, I would be offended when people did that. But now I understand it's like, as long as it's discussed, because I know I've been in relationships, and I just mean that in general, with people mm-hmm. where they would have the process time and then we would just go back to whatever and never talk about it. And then so it's like, dang it, then it's like still underlying. And I feel like that's not really effective communication. So have like what we do, like what you said, like you had the process time and then we came back and talked about it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the difference, is just understanding. Like for me, when somebody would say process time, be like, no, we got to talk about it now. We got to,
fresh.
And it's like that I'm not respecting their boundaries by doing that. Invalidating their experience. So it's like, it's all complicated.
Well, they always used to say this, like in the context of marriage or just romantic relations, you never go to bed angry. Yeah. And I don't know that I buy that, because you know what, sometimes maybe I need to go to bed angry. I need to know what it feels like. I guess they say it because you never know what could happen.
Somebody could die. I think that's the way in my mind I was literally thinking the person could die or I could die, and then that's how we're going to leave on a bad foot.
Yeah, but then who is that for? Is that a selfish thing to want to get this done right now, as opposed to waiting until everybody's calmed down? It's
a selfish thing for sure.
Because I think sometimes it's better. Like, I'm not the type of person, like Sean will never sleep on the couch. We are not that good, that's so petty. Like, we sleeping together. You know what I mean? I'm mad at you. I still love you, but I'm mad at you. We're not gonna face each other, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow, when we have a fresh understanding of stuff. But I think it's a lot of pressure to be like, you can't go to bed angry.
Yeah, that's a level.
We'd be up till 4 a.m. Like, exactly. I can't do that. I got kids
at an impasse,
work and things to do.
Exactly. I think that's a level of maturity, and like we were saying, it always comes back to those things like safety and stuff like that. Yes, we are angry. We're not going to agree 24/7. If they do,
I hope not.
Yeah,
that's
does
terrible.
Something
that's
wrong.
So
there's something wrong, and there's somebody controlling in that case, probably most of the time. So yes, we are angry at each other. We're having a fight. It's not the end of the world. And I think for a long time, I thought
it was the end of the world.
Having a fight. And I think that's because how I was like a kid. And so I was like operating like, we have a fight. Okay, that's not cool. That's not safe. Bye. And then it took friends saying, no, that's not how, it works. And that's just upbringing and stuff, like that's all that took friends saying, no, that's not how it works, man.
I think that might be a baseline. And I'm just going to make this generalization. I think that's a baseline for everybody, is that feeling of security in a relationship, period. Everybody needs to feel secure.
Otherwise, why be in it?
But it's also like, because I can remember just different people I dated, and if we had a disagreement, it was the end of my life. Oh my God, we're going to break up. Or, oh my, this is going to, like, it's the end. Like everything had to be smooth and perfect. And I think that's a lot of the time that I shrunk myself. I couldn't control that came out, but I shrunk myself to be smaller than I was. I made myself smaller, my personality, my whatever, smaller, to accommodate somebody with a larger personality or whatever, so that if there was conflict, I just choked it down and didn't say anything. Definitely. And that's because there was no security there. I don't know what the hell I was doing for like a good 15 years of my life. What was I doing? Like, I didn't feel safe
growing
anywhere.
up. Yeah. I've been there too. And it's like, I'd rather just swallow myself and not have to worry about it because that resentment, but because I don't want a conflict. So now you may think that we don't have a conflict, but now I'm harboring resentment because I didn't feel like I had a voice.
Yeah.
To say
I
something.
Felt that before too.
Yeah. So it's so complicated, and it is just growing up and learning and getting feedback. Like, thank goodness these people had the sense to say, yeah, that ain't it, or I can't receive this. Yeah. Because it's helpful. Like, because we're all going through it. The people who didn't probably were going through their own thing. Like, oh, well, I don't want to tell her communication fucked up because then she's going to be,
I wish somebody would say your communication is fucked up. Like, I think I would laugh. I would appreciate it though, but yeah. So what are the takeaways for you? Like Mo's communication, what are the things you need from somebody that you were in a relationship with regarding communication? Obviously honesty. I think we can agree. Yeah. Honesty.
I think that's important. The baseline. Truth, honesty, clarity, like, just be clear.
What do you mean by clarity though? That's what I mean. Like, what I think is
don't
clear.
Speak in funny, like don't speak
in tongues.
Speak in hyperbole. What is that? What am I trying to say? Don't speak in tongues. Like say plain speak. Like don't say.
Don't talk like M does.
Are you gonna eat that? When you mean, oh, are you fat?
Can I have that?
Like double speak. I hate double speak.
Or like instead of asking for what you want, you make a statement kind of hoping somebody will come to you and say, I don't know if I should put this. Okay. So this morning I was in the shower and my husband wanted to go outside and do some work. in the yard or whatever. And it was early. We have one early riser kid who's little and they need to be supervised still or whatever. But I was in the shower and he said, I'm gonna go outside now. He's like, but this son or whatever is awake. And then I was like, okay.
Do you want me to do something? Yeah.
And then he was just like, well, do you want me to stay? Should I stay? And I was sitting there, yeah, like, why don't you just say, but to me, like the communication was more like, you need to stay.
Yeah.
So why are you
like,
bothering me in my shower?
Yeah,
just tell me, hey, can you hurry up? I need to get just tell me. It was good. Like, it was a very roundabout, maybe trying to be polite.
Yeah. It's scary too. Maybe he's scared because I definitely have done that too. Cause it's like, and it sucks because I think from people pleasing, even with you, I'm sure I've done it because I've done it with everybody where I hope you read my mind and you do. And it's like, but it shouldn't be like that. Like I should be able to say, can you do this without feeling, oh, you're going to get mad at me? You're like, why would you
I need
mad?
to get some work in the yard done before work starts. How long are you going to be?
Yeah, exactly. Period. Poop. Done.
Yeah. But it was like a whole sideways conversation. And I'm like,
you don't want
to, I don't know.
You also don't want, especially when, and I can see that, like, I haven't really interacted with your husband enough to know, but I can see he's probably similar like me, where people can take words out of his mouth as coming off as abrasive or something like that. Yeah. And so it even makes
I
it
think
worse.
your communication styles are similar, which is funny.
And so it's like
funny.
you really you're like, I don't want to, and then you still end up doing it's never ending cycle. So yeah,
but I feel like it's, for me, it's also just like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And that's something I have to work on. You got to speak up and ask for what you want. Period. Because nobody's gonna guess it, and then you can't be mad when they don't guess it right. Because that's me.
Exactly.
I'll be mad if you don't get it right. It's like,
you didn't read my mind. God damn.
Yes. What is that? Yeah.
It's pride, I think. And so also I feel sometimes I'm like, am I begging? Like, I don't want to keep begging people. Like, is asking for clearer communication or asking for something, is that begging? Like, how do I phrase this without sounding like I'm begging? It's like way overthinking stuff, I think, and overanalyzing.
But yeah, okay, so I get what you say by clarity. Clarity,
But yeah, clarity, just keep it real, keep it 100.
Well, part of communication too, and this is for me, part of communication I think is not just the speaking, but the hearing and the way you listen to it. And I think for me, a lot of my needs come from that. They don't come from the way you speak to me, but how you are taking what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like I can tell when you respond so fast, I can tell you weren't listening to what I just said because you had a response queued up and you were ready to go. So that is problematic because, again, I don't feel heard. And that is a huge problem for me, is when I feel like subordinated. I don't know if that makes sense. Like my needs, my views, my words are not as important as
preaching to the choir.
So for me, it's just I appreciate someone saying, like active listening. And even, and this is going to sound really dumb, but repeating back, what I heard is you said this. This is what I heard you say. This is what I'm understanding that you just told me.
Like, we do that.
Yeah, repeat it back to me because I want to know, did I even communicate that clearly?
Yeah.
Are we on the same
like,
page?
yeah, exactly.
I would appreciate that so much. Yes, I would appreciate that so much. Yeah.
I always say, this is my perception of what happened, blah, blah, blah. This is how I'm taking it. Is this accurate?
Yeah. And then you can respond and say, no, I meant this. And then there's clarity. There's understanding. Yeah.
But I think we also talked about this too. And it's like, is it me? Because like, how are so many
I feel like it's me
understanding me? And it's this, and I think before I used to take it from an egoic place and be like, these people, they just don't get me, and it's like
these simpletons don't understand my complexity.
These old basic people, I'm in the gifted program. Y'all just dumb. Y'all don't know. But it's like, no, like I'm not communicating effectively. So, but then also they're not listening effectively as well, because
the listening is big. Yeah.
Don't assume that if you don't understand it, like I used to do, like I said, like don't assume if you don't understand. And I would just feel so misunderstood, or people would be I think that was one of the biggest thing. And I still get it. People will be laughing. I'm like, I'm not even making a joke. Like, why are you laughing? Like, God damn.
You're like, I'm serious. This is my life. I'm serious.
Well, not serious, but serious as far as not making a joke, not anything extra. But
you're funny. So some stuff you just say and it's like, whoa.
And what's funny is that awkward, like, like what's
I
funny?
I don't know, but you make me laugh.
That's so, yeah. I need to figure out how to put that on into something, because I don't know how to do it intentionally. It's just me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. Or another thing too, I think that's important to communicate is sometimes like I get emotional. And it doesn't mean I'm angry. You know what I mean? Like I know I have to say, I understand you are feeling the same way I am. Or I understand that you are hurt too. Or I always try to say that, because it looks like I'm just like, you or I start crying and stuff. And it's like, I think that's especially in a romantic relationship, like, or my husband or whatever, it's like, oh, how do I, like, oh my God, like, how do I deal with this? This is a lot, but I get emotional. I mean, there's been times like I've sent voice messages and my voice cracking. I'm just like, I get, and it's just, I can't help it. Like if I'm talking about something that makes me feel very vulnerable, I cry. Because I'm scared. It's scary. Maybe that's what it is. It's scary. I'm naked to you. I am showing you this. This is something that's deep inside me. I don't tell people a lot. And then I start crying because I'm like, oh, God. It's scary. So I get emotional. So I feel like it's important for me to communicate. I'm not angry, even though I'm raging, because it's just feelings. I don't know.
We had this. I remember on one of the things. Were you finished? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's just, yeah.
On one of the last week's
that
live.
Was sweet. That was nice.
I'm gonna let you finish. On last week's live or something, I was like, and you were like, what? And then I said, I am. I saw that on the last live. It was like, I was describing something. I said I don't even remember the context. You gotta go back and look at it. But I was like, I'm blah, blah. It was like I was starting to talk and you were like, what? And I said, I stopped. And I was like, I am. I said, that's what I was saying. I am. And then we just laughed and kept talking. But I was like,
there could have been a whole lot of factors in that. So I'm just gonna say, let's just chalk that up to a whoop-de-whoop.
But that was I'm just saying, if you want an example, that was a good example of it. Like our active listening styles or listening styles, or you will make a joke and then I don't get it until I listen to the podcast. And I'm like, I didn't miss that whole joke. Could have had a whole banter.
I find it hard. Mostly when I'm speaking with women, because I think it got planted in my head that women talk over each other. Like 5 women could be talking and we can all understand and hear each other's stuff. Whereas men are more like take turn, somebody put that in my head. There was a study or something somewhere along
family.
No, there was an actual study. And I read about it or watched something on the TV, like something about how women's communication style, like you could be in a group of women just talking, you could get everybody's information while they're still talking. Whereas men are very compartmentalized and they take turns. They have a very rigid kind of structure in their speak. And so I'm hyper aware of it and self-conscious about it, because I find myself talking over, especially in this podcast, I'm learning a lot. I find myself talking over you or not knowing how. It's like a dance. I don't know how to get into it and say my piece without cutting you off. Like I'm not trying to cut you off. I don't know when it's my turn to talk. Like
especially on really the lives.
Yeah. Like I just and then we kind of stutter and we're like, no, you, and it's just,
and then we're like
weird.
Who goes? Oh.
But it's like a weird, like it's double Dutch. Like I don't know how to get in. And so I just go and then it's a mess. So.
But I had to check myself too, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, you can go, and then I'll still talk. I'm like, oh, they were just gonna let me talk. I'm like, wait, no, like that's just disrespectful.
Oh my gosh. This podcast has made me realize like just the weird things about communicating the way I communicate, because I can see what other people do, but just to be able to see what my practices and my behaviors are, it's been very interesting. It's just been very interesting.
And it's also not as bad as we think, at least for me. I've seen, I don't know if you feel that way about yourself, but I think in the moment, sometimes I'm thinking, gosh, I don't make any sense. I don't even know how we're having a conversation. And then I'll look like, that made sense.
That was deep. Yeah. That was deep. Go ahead. Yeah. Like I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I have a lot of those moments. Yeah. I really don't know what I'm talking about half the time though, but
this the ancestors coming through. I sent you a paper from law school or something. I was like, I don't even remember what it was. I had no recollection of that, no memory.
When?
Well, it was like a memo or a brief or something I sent you.
In law school? Or
No,
like recently?
Last week. It was one of my creepy pop-ups from like back in the day.
Oh my word.
And it was just like a brief. And it was like, I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember writing stuff. Like, I guess I did more than I thought I did.
You had to. If you went to law school and got a law degree, you had to write something. You had to write a whole lot of somethings.
Must be PTSD.
Unless they did it different at your school.
Yeah. I'm not using that lightly. Yes.
It was a traumatic experience. I would say it was, especially to go, do you hear them sawing stuff? Especially no. To go from being a whole grown-up adult, living on your own, paying your bills with a full-time salary job to, I guess I'll go be a student again. That's a life change for real.
I mean, I did it so many times because I didn't know what to do. So it was actually a comfort, except that kind of schooling was different because it was more like
because they beat you up and then send you home.
That was I didn't really feel secure or confident at all ever in that.
That's
I gained
like
the
30,
40 pounds.
That's the whole point of law school,
pounds.
Though, I think, is to make you learn how to be successful in an uncomfortable situation, how to think on your toes, how to dig out of the dirt, just fight. You got to be scrappy. I feel like. One
of my hardest professors, I found out, said something like, "Oh, she's gonna make a good lawyer one day," and I was like, you were wrong. I mean,
it's still one day. You still got one day.
If I wanted, I think
you would too.
Would, but it's just something about it. I don't know. It just doesn't, like, I just want to have fun and I don't know how to get paid for that.
I wonder if you could do that and practice law, or, do like, if you started your own thing,
like these TikTok lawyers.
Yeah. But again, it needs to make money so you can pay bills. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. I'm going to research, like, what's the area of law that's most that where there's a big gap where people need
every state has something different too.
Yep.
I know. When I was in law school, there was like they called it Indian law. I mean, I don't know what if it's indigenous politically people, like correct, right, but it was Indian law, and then maritime law was also another big one. It's just like,
I think that's still a big one, the maritime.
Yeah. So those are two that I remember.
That sounds boring though.
But you're probably dealing with like immigration issues with maritime law, and there's a lot of transport of goods and stuff like that. So probably contracts and in the hella injuries, people get longshoremen and stuff get hurt.
Yeah, the case is always something in there.
International stuff.
Yeah, Civ Pro, because then you know like
where to bring the case.
Yeah. So all of that. Z's.
Somebody cooking?
They asked if you wanted some food.
No, he went to go pick something up. We have a lot of workers at the house, so he picked up
the workers cooking?
No, but like probably my mom. It's not, we getting all that. Gotta cook all the dead animals we have here. the murder that we have.
I want something to eat. It's like I said, I got food in the refrigerator, but I don't want any of it. I got to figure out what to make.
My big thing is just rice. I've been eating rice. Like it's
same.
That's comfort
blowing
to
up.
me.
I gained like 5 pounds.
But here's my question about that: is like, hella people eat rice as like their main staple, and they not blowing up. So how? Like, what am I doing wrong? It's because I'm eating the rice and I'm eating like the gravy and the ice cream and the whatever.
I'm eating the rice and not exercising. Yeah, I'm not doing.
Well, I'm not doing that either.
Yeah.
I love the nori and a little. I love fish sauce. I live off fish sauce, but fish sauce on the rice.
I got some vegan fish sauce too. Yeah. And I like the sushi rice. Oh yeah, do the sushi rice with some nori.
Look at us.
Burikake.
Y'all got to look at that OnlyFans.
Yeah,
you want to see more about this? Look at us. Oh,
we got to discuss.
That's the ad right there.
First dish. That's the ad right now.
No, my nose ring just popped off.
Oh.
Like it got caught on my sweatshirt.
Any final words about communication?
Look at that. I got a piece of my sweatshirt on my nose.
See, that's why I don't mess with it again. Ooh, I'm broken out. Don't put my face on here. Look at that.
You look fine.
Oh my God, I look like Sasquatch. Oh my God. What is going on? Ooh.
Stress.
Yeah, stress. I need that peace.
Yeah, deep breath, deep cleansing breath. Oh, that felt good.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to start my day. I know it's the afternoon for you, but I gotta get some food.
I got stuff to do too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go figure out what I'm gonna eat. All right, girl. Love you.
I love you too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Two Girls Shooting the Shit with Em and Mo. Please enjoy this mindful moment. No response is a response. And it's a powerful one. Remember that.